What is up? My name is Jaden Pope. I am based out of Nashville, and this is episode 5 of my podcast, Pope Put You On, where I bring in artists each week to tell their stories and to hopefully put you guys on some good music. Today's guest is our first ever female on the podcast, Tiffany Johnson. Such an awesome conversation that we had. And again, like the last videos, wait till the end because she plays a new song from her new EP that she dropped a little bit ago called Blue Heaven, and it's so good. I also wanted to say thank you for everyone who's been following along for these past 5 episodes from the beginning. And, you know, I don't have a ton of followers now, but we can only go up, baby. We can only go up. The Prosperous Pope quote of today is close to my heart because I like to use it when I'm in tough situations, when I'm working towards a goal that I want to hit. And the quote is by Alex Hormozy. I think I used one of his quotes before, but it goes, "This is the story that I will one day tell." So let that one marinate. I hope you guys enjoy the episode. And if you're listening on YouTube, subscribe. If you're listening on a podcast platform, follow. Appreciate y'all. Word up. How was your performance? All right, you ready?
Yes.
How was your performance at the basement?
It was good.
Yeah.
I just did like a solo acoustic situation, and I kind of like used it as a way to just like play a bunch of new songs and test things out. So it was good.
I saw your EP. How did that go? When did you release that?
So my EP I released, I think June or July.
Okay.
Of this last summer.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. I kind of like waterfalled all the singles just because I feel like that's how things be going these days.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really like, it felt like a very slow burn into like having the EP released.
Yeah.
But I'd been working on it for like over a year, and I feel like a lot of the songs had been in my folder on my iPhone for like way too long, and I'm like, okay, I just want them to be in the world now.
Yeah.
But it was really fun getting to like release stuff.
How was that process with your like producer? Was that good? Do you have one producer that you go
to?
Okay.
So my main producer that I use for a lot of this stuff, his name's Griffin White, and he is actually from South Dakota also.
Oh, sweet.
And he was friends with my brother in college. And then one day my brother was like, oh, like, you need to meet this dude. And I was like 15 at the time. Okay. And so me and Griffin have been working together since I was like 15. He produced like some of my first stuff ever. Yeah. And then when I moved to Nashville, he moved at the same time. Okay. So we both were like, let's go somewhere with a better music scene.
No way.
So we both moved here and like have worked on every single one of my projects. But after moving to Nashville, like, the Blue Heaven EP was the first EP that like I used other producers for also.
Oh, okay.
Which was really fun, and me and Griffin did like a lot of co-production.
Yeah, I really like that song, Blue Heaven.
Thank you. Matt Harris produced that one.
Okay, cool.
And he was awesome, and Austin Bianco produced one of the other songs on it, and it was just like a really fun experience, like getting to work with different producers and try out different styles and stuff. So
how did you find your producers? Because I tried doing it, and it was like the hardest thing to do. Was it just like networking, or did you go online?
Honestly, a lot of them were like set up for me like through other people. Like a lot of people were like, oh, like you need to meet this person and work with them. Yeah. And both Blue Heaven and Too Far Gone were songs that it was just like day of demos. So we co-wrote them, and then we made a demo while we were there, and that like ended up being what we like used on the record basically.
What was that process of like deciding that you wanted to go full-time music and then moving from South Dakota to Nashville? Like, was that hard? Was that like a long process?
It was. I've been into music since I was like really little. So I started doing music when I was like 8 years old, and I was a huge fan of like Dolly Parton and Kelsey Ballerini and Taylor Swift. So like I kind of just like went into school in high school like with the idea that I was going to move to Nashville. Okay. Like it was kind of like always what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And so I graduated high school early, and that was kind of always my plan. Like I stacked my credits in my freshman and sophomore year.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. To like see, I was like, well, if I want to graduate early, and then COVID happened. Yeah. So then I was like, like I don't want to continue doing school. Like I'm just going to graduate early because I can. Yeah. So then I did that, and I moved here, and it just wasn't really a question for me. Like I kind of always knew that's what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. It's definitely been awesome moving to Nashville. Yeah. It's kind of a funny story because I was the kind of person that like I didn't want to go get gas by myself when I was like 18. Really? Like I was like I wanted to have a little buddy with me like at all times. Yeah. And then I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move to a city that is bigger than the population of my entire state by myself. Yeah. And it's going to be fine. Like everything's going to be fine. And honestly, I'm glad I had that optimism at 18 because I
Yeah.
feel like now I would be a little more skeptical
Yeah.
than I was at the time. But I was just like naive, and I was like, yeah, let's do it.
That's good
and
though.
It was good, and I am glad that I pushed myself at that time to like be like fearless in a sense and do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And it was kind of hard because I didn't go to school or anything. I haven't. I might, but I haven't yet.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to get a degree, or are you just kind of?
It's up in the air right now.
Yeah.
I don't really know. But at the time I was like, I just want to try music like full time. Like that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I had that perspective,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like a lot because I had to figure out ways to make friends and meet people like outside of a societal, like, I don't know.
Who was like the first like friend that you made here? Do you know? Do you remember?
Well, I made a lot of friends through like camps and seminars. So I started coming to Nashville.
Did you go on a lot of like writers retreats?
Yes.
Okay,
so I did stuff like that from the time I was like 13, like all the way through middle school and high school. I went to like NSAI camps, which is the Nashville Songwriters Association.
Okay.
I went to camps there. I went to like the Tin Pan South seminar just to like meet a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the first people I met were Jade and Izzy, who are my roommates now. Izzy Mahobi.
Okay,
Mahobi?
yeah.
I should know that she's my
roommate. I hit her
roommate.
up on Instagram. I think she's gonna get on. Hopefully.
Is she?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so. Yeah,
yes. Izzy Mahubi. I need to say that right because she's my roommate. I'm like, how do you say her last name? Yeah. She and Jade I met at Tin Pan South when we were like young.
Which is a writer's round.
It's a seminar. It's a seminar.
Yeah.
I think me and Izzy actually technically met like before that, but we became friends like at this seminar. And so like a bunch of the friends that I met there like are literally my roommates now.
Yeah.
I met a bunch of people at a country music hall of fame camp when I was like 13.
Ooh,
that like I ended up being
nice.
friends with, and a bunch of people went to Belmont. So yeah, that's kind of how that happened.
Nice.
Love.
What's in the works right now? Anything? Just writing every day?
So many things.
Yeah.
So I've kind of been trying to write as much as possible in this season. I had my first like major label cut this year, which was really cool because I usually write for myself, but I got to like write for some other people this year, which was like so fun and such a like big goal of mine.
Yeah.
And that was really awesome. And I'm working on an album currently, which is like exciting. I've always wanted to make an album.
That's awesome.
It might end up being 2 EPs depending on how like I decide to distribute it, but I've always just like wanted like for my own creative process to like make an album and have a cohesive project and feel like I got to like tell a story through a piece of art. And so that's kind of what I've been working on, but it's been crazy because I like wanted to consider like every song I've written in the last 2 years. So I wrote down every song I've written and put them all up on my wall in my room, and I've been like staring at them every day being like, okay, what songs do I for sure want on this project? And I've been choosing from like over like 75 songs for like this project. And I think it's probably gonna end up being like 10 or 13 songs. But yeah, it's just been fun getting to like write for that.
How many songs is that usually? An album's like...
An album is technically, I think, anything over 6 songs.
Okay.
Because I think an EP ends at 6.
Yeah. How do you feel about the singles being like singles are like huge, and like I haven't seen like album releases like crazy recently.
Yeah, I feel like independent people don't usually release albums, which is why like I haven't fully decided if I'm gonna like release it as an album, but for like my own personal sake, I was like, I want to record it as an album and then figure out that later. I'll definitely probably waterfall a bunch of the singles. But also like I kind of just get tired of the nature of singles. Like I am an album person.
Okay.
I enjoy listening to albums. I enjoy artists that like create albums and create worlds around their albums. So that's what I wanted to do. Like some of my favorite projects of this year were like Sabrina Carpenter's album and like Olivia Rodrigo's album, where it's like I feel like those were artists that just weren't afraid to be like, no, like I'm doing an album and that's what's happening.
Do you take after artists like that? Is that like, would you describe your genre closer to them, or how would you describe it?
I try not to like box myself in too much on like genre, at least when I'm creating my music. But like I would say definitely some of my biggest inspirations are like Olivia Rodrigo, Sabrina Carpenter, Taylor Swift, Maggie Rogers. But I also love like indie rock, alternative music. I went through a huge like 90s grunge phase last year, so a lot of the songs have some of that like influence. And I also love folk music. Like my favorite writer is Gregory Alan Isakov. Do you know him?
I saw him live.
When?
Gosh, it was like 2 months ago. It was at.
Was it in Franklin? Yeah. I was there. I was literally there.
That was the best.
With Ray LaMontagne.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Ray LaMontagne was.
He was great.
Yeah, he was really good, but he was saying some weird things. Did you hear that at the very end?
No, I didn't. We left early.
Oh, no.
I had to work the next morning.
But yeah, Ray LaMontagne was good. Gregory was incredible.
He's so good.
So good. He's coming out. He's doing a tour with what is it?
The Symphony.
The Symphony. Yes.
I'm totally going to that.
Yeah, I want to try to go. Do you know when is it?
It's in March sometime.
Okay.
I saw it last night and I showed my boyfriend and I was like, if I don't get tickets, I'm going to cry. Like I was like, I have to go. I'm a huge fan of his. He's my favorite songwriter, and I just like the way he words things is so unique to me. And maybe it is like he's from Colorado and like a lot of the scenery is similar to where I'm from, so like I feel like I relate to that. But he has a way of wording things that's just so beautiful to me.
Have you seen him multiple times?
Yeah. Okay. I saw him at the Ryman a couple years ago, and that I literally cried the whole time. Like I cried the whole time. It was so good.
What's your favorite song by him?
My favorite song like ever is Big Black Car. Like that's probably my favorite song, like period.
Really?
I also love Amsterdam. Yep. Like the bridge of that song is so good. Yeah. Huge fan.
I didn't know this was a song until he performed it, but Southern Star.
Yeah.
That one was really good live.
He's so good.
I feel like a lot of artists are just so much better live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is always nice when you go see someone and you're like, oh, like they're better live than I thought.
I saw. Do you know Hazlitt?
No.
Hazlitt. Okay, he's a good one. But it was like, what's his song? Blame the Moon. Do you know Blame the Moon?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I need to look this up.
Yeah, he's good. But he was like incredible live. Like I'd much rather listen to his music live. And it's so much more intimate. Yeah. Like with him and just a guitar. That's all it was.
That's awesome.
John Vincent III.
Oh, he's
you know him?
Awesome.
Okay, yeah. Hazlitt opened up for him.
I saw Raylan Baxter, and he was someone that like I kind of knew his music, but he was insane live.
Okay.
I also like saw Clairo, and she was someone I didn't really like listen to a bunch, and then I saw her live, and I like couldn't stop streaming her. Yeah. It's just so nice when you see artists and they're like incredible live, because I feel like that really like shows off people's like true artistry.
Yeah. Have you ever been to like any big concerts? Like
I went to the Eras tour twice. I went to the opening night of the whole thing, which was insane, and I'm super glad I went. And then I went in Nashville. I saw Olivia Rodrigo last year. I went to Kiss randomly because me and my roommate got free tickets. They're and that was like awesome. Yeah, some of them, I think so. That was awesome. Oh, I saw the 1975 at Bridgestone also. You're lying. Yes, you do.
What's one of their songs?
The 1975?
Yeah.
You actually don't know the 1975? Matty Healy?
No.
You go to Belmont and you don't know the 1975?
I'm sorry. I
thought that was a bit at first. I was like, what?
No, I swear I don't.
Oh my god.
What's one of their songs? What's one of their top songs?
I don't even know what they're. They have a song called Chocolate. They sing the song. It's like, I don't want your body, but I hate to think about you as somebody else. That's like one of their top songs.
Okay, that's a TikTok song I know.
Yeah. You have to look into them. I was kind of a hater for a while, not gonna lie, because I was a big fan at like right when some of their first stuff was coming out, and then I was like thought they got too overrated, so then I was like I don't like it anymore. It's so basic, and now I'm obsessed with them again. They're my number 2 on Spotify Wrapped this year. So
the only big concert I had, you know Coldplay.
Yes,
I went to Coldplay.
I want to go to Coldplay
so good. They're so good. It was like my first concert, so it set the bar super high. And then I went to Gregory, and then that was like I just like his music so much better.
Are you going to Coldplay again? They're coming to Nashville.
When?
I don't know, but they're going to Nissan.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. I was just so happy that was my first concert, because they were just like they gave you the bracelets that lit up. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they gave you the bracelets, and it like played with the music, and then they did like paper, like butterfly paper mache, and then like blew it all over the stadium.
That's insane.
So sick.
Did you see their like performance at the Dome in Las Vegas?
Oh no, did you?
No, I didn't. Well, I mean, like see videos from it. Like it was insane. That venue is like so cool. I love Coldplay. No, I want to go though.
Yeah.
Coldplay's awesome. What's your favorite concert you've ever been to?
Okay, so Gregory was one of the tops. I'm really close with Bo, so like his stuff is so good. It's actually so good awesome. Live. If you ever get a chance, I'm going to a show at the Ryman.
Oh yeah.
I think he's headlining. think.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's headlining. But I don't know. His band is just so cool. Do you know Ronan?
Yes.
His guitarist.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's so crazy. Bo was telling me he was like, he gets free reign on, like, he can just do whatever he wants. That's awesome. Now. Yeah, it's so cool. I wanted to ask you, are you like signed to anything? Are you doing any deals? Or
yeah.
What does that look like?
So right now I'm completely independent.
Okay.
And I basically have always been completely independent. I've done a few different like management things here and there.
Yeah.
I have a distribution deal currently with Symphonic that goes to like the end of the year. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
What does that distribution deal look like? What is it?
It's similar to like DistroKid or TuneCore, any of those things. It's just like a private company that does it.
Is there benefits to that?
Yeah, there is. They essentially do the same thing. It's just more like you have to like get invited to go to like to be on it. But it's basically the same thing as everything else. So
what about like managers? Has any like managers or record labels reached out to you to?
I've worked with like a couple managers in like unofficial deals.
Yeah.
Both have been absolutely great. Like
Good.
Awesome people, great at their jobs. But I feel like I'm looking for like the right fit for one, and someone that like really like aligns with what I'm looking for and like really believes in me. Like I'm really looking for like a champion kind of person, and someone that's like, I just like love your music and I really believe in your music.
Yeah.
So like until I find that, like I like doing everything myself, and I feel like there'll come a time that like I need it, but like right now I'm like chilling.
Yeah, I feel like that relationship is hard. I've talked to a couple managers because I'm thinking about going into management.
Yeah.
And one of these guys that I just met who works out in like Ireland, which is really cool, but he was like, a lot of artists now, or a lot of managers nowadays go out and find the artists and like will just sign the deal to make money, and then there's a lack of like strong relationship between the two, and then it just falls out. So
yeah, it's such a personal relationship. Like it's genuinely like getting into a relationship with someone. Like it's, and especially if they're your day-to-day manager and you're calling them every day, like it really has to, like the stars have to align, I feel like. So.
Yeah, I definitely think it's tough. He was saying he's seen a lot of artists fall out just because of that.
Yeah.
And it's tough out there for sure.
What are you majoring in right now?
I'm majoring in music business.
Okay.
So you're familiar with that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, good. Because Belmont was like, when I say this to other people,
they're
like
huh?
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah.
But it's just like a business degree.
Yeah.
With just an emphasis in the music industry. But I feel like a lot of the work is like, if you want to do it, like a lot of it is just actually going out into Nashville. It's not like taking these classes here. And I've learned a ton. But like I've progressed more just being out there.
Yeah. And
like networking and just like sending out cold emails and stuff. But it's cool. I do like it here though, because I can just meet like all these cool artists, which is the best. Yeah. I'm sure you've met a ton.
Yeah. What makes you want to do management?
Okay, so I think I did sales for like 2 years, and I like loved working with people and just talking to people, because like every day what I would be doing is just like breaking ice with people, talking to them for like a couple minutes, like building a relationship. And then it was a lot of like training younger or like incoming employees, which I loved a ton. And I think like I want to be like people focused, and I was like looking into the artist thing, but I really love working with people and like watching them thrive and succeed. So, because it's tough out here. That's kind of partly why
I'm tough out here. That's awesome.
That's partly why I'm doing the podcast too, is because like I've like talked to artists and they're like working crazy hard, and then DSPs are not even paying anything, and a lot of it's like mechanical, and like trying to land sync and then make relationships with other artists and co-write, and then try to find a lot of jobs all at once. Have you done anything like co-writing?
Oh yeah. Tons of co-writing. I love co-writing, and I feel like some of my favorite songs ever have come from co-writing, but I also like hold a very special place in my heart for writing by myself, and I feel like I do, like I mean like I love co-writing, but also a lot of my favorite songs because I feel like emotionally, like I need time to just like sit with my own thoughts.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to do that co-writing. And so I feel like most of my most like emotional, like brutally honest songs I write by myself.
Yeah.
In my room. But I also do think there's something very special about like intertwining your own talents with someone else's.
Yeah.
And like creating something you wouldn't otherwise. So I do love both, but I also think like a lot of people move to Nashville and just like stop writing by themselves. Yeah. And I want to make sure that like I don't lose that part of my artistry. So
I feel like it's the best too. Is like when you co-write and then it's just like just flows. I feel like that's the best feeling.
Yes. And it a lot of people say it's kind of like dating, which I feel like in some ways it is, because like you meet up with somebody and you're like, all right, let's trauma dump. Yeah. We don't know each other. Low-key, I like went to therapy and I was like, why is this just the first 30 minutes of a co-write right now? Yeah. But
yeah, because you got to sit there and you like, and then like before you even start writing, you have to like get into each other's lives.
Yes,
like,
it's very interesting. Yeah. It is fun, but I enjoy it. And like I've done it for so long that like I don't think it's weird anymore. But like I'll talk to my family about it and they're like, why are you telling these random people like your life tea? I'm like, they don't know anyone involved. Like they don't really care that much. We're just trying to write a song. Like, but yeah, it is emotional and it is hard, and it's hard to be like vulnerable with people sometimes, but I do it's a unique art and I really do love it.
What are the characteristics of like a good co-write? Like when you show up, like how do you feel? How does the other person make you feel?
I guess it depends on the write and like what the purpose of the write is.
Okay.
For me, like as an artist, when I go into a room like looking for something for my own project, the biggest thing like for myself is like making sure I have ideas and making sure I'm prepared and like kind of like can communicate a direction to the other person I'm working with. Yeah. But like usually what I look for in other co-writers is an openness and a willingness to just like do whatever. Yeah. But I really love writing with the people that I feel like they're trying to like accommodate to my artistry, because if I'm writing for my artist project, like I think it's really important as a writer to be like flexible enough and kind of can be to be like a chameleon to someone else's artistry. So like when someone comes in the room and they're like, okay, so like what space do you need to fill in your project, and like what are you looking for, and how can I serve like you and your album and your song? Awesome. Like I think when I write with people like that is sometimes when I get like the best material. I think it's hard sometimes when you go into a co-write and they're like, okay, we're writing a song. Like, what are we writing about? Like, sometimes that's a little bit trickier. Yeah. Also, just like co-writers that like are down to be friends too. Like my best songs have come from people that I just like am friends with and hang out with, and they like know my lore, I guess. Like they know my life. Yeah. And so they know what songs I have and what songs I don't have, and like what I'm experiencing in my life, and how to like capture that and help me capture that.
Who's an artist that the co-write was like really good?
Well, my roommate Jade.
Okay, cool.
We write all the time. Yeah. She's awesome. I write a lot with Elena Jones, and I feel like she just does the most incredible job of like turning everyone into her friend. Like it's so impressive. She's genuinely the best like networker I know, but also just like the best friend to people. And she like shows up for people, and I think that goes such a long way. Like other than just like the writing part of it. Yeah. I wrote a lot with Susie Bust.
Okay.
She's awesome. Susie and Spencer, we have a little squad going there. Nice. And we write all the time, and they're like also just my friends, which is like awesome. Yeah. Trying to think who else. Right, with my other roommate Izzy a lot.
Is it the Mahubi?
Yeah,
I think she put. I was looking at her profile.
It's like in her bio.
How to say her name.
Yes.
That's funny.
I write with her a lot. Tyler Bank wrote a lot of songs. Okay. I went on a writer's retreat last year It was awesome. Genuinely my favorite experience ever. And Elena put it on. So it's just like all of Elena's friends, basically, which everyone she becomes friends with is like awesome. Mm-hmm. And Christiana and Ryan and I'm trying to think who else is on it. Like Drake, Remy, all these people. It was so fun. And
go ahead.
Sorry, what
I had a question pop up in my head, but go ahead.
You're all good. Yeah. And we just stayed in a cabin for like a weekend and just like wrote whenever we felt like it, kind of, and pulled names out of a hat for like what groups we were in, and I just had the most fun ever. And it was nice just being in a secluded space like in the woods where it's like, okay, we're just gonna write for a weekend.
That's what I was gonna ask. I was like, what does like your like routine look like when you go in? I've never been on a writer's
retreat,
but what does that look like?
I mean, it was my first one. Okay. But I liked it because I didn't feel like there was a lot of pressure. Like, there was scheduled writes. Like, everyone basically wrote at like 11 and then at like 3 or 4. But there wasn't any pressure to like write anything. It's like, oh, if you want to come write, like, cool. If you want to go in the hot tub, like, cool. So like that was really fun.
Is it at someone's house?
We rented a cabin.
Okay.
Well,
Elena's like an Airbnb.
Like an Airbnb.
Okay.
Elena's mom got it for her Christmas.
Yeah.
Like the trip. So that's what everyone went on. So shout out Elena's mom. Love you. But yeah, it was awesome. And there was 2 producers that came. So we'd go in each room with like a track guy. Yeah. But one of my favorite songs we wrote the whole retreat, it was like midnight, and a couple of the girls were like, oh, we want to write another song. Like, do you want to join? And the funny thing about me is I feel like sometimes I have my best ideas when I'm just like not in the mood. I was like, like, I am tired. I'm a grandma. I want to go to bed. Like, I don't have like fine. I'll join the right. I'll sit here, but like I was kind of being sassy. I was like, I don't have any ideas. Like, I just want to eat some chips in the corner, like whatever. And then I started playing guitar, and we like wrote this song in like literally 20 minutes. And it was like a murder mystery kind of narrative song.
That's awesome. Is it out or no?
No, it's called Looks Can Kill. Okay. And it was so fun. And then Alyssa like produced it. And so we were up to like 1 a.m. like recording vocals on this song. Yeah. But it was genuinely one of the easiest songs like I feel like I've ever written. It was funny because I was just like not in the mood to do it. But sometimes that's when the best like stuff comes. So
yeah. What about solo projects? Because you said you like doing that. What was your favorite? Like your most favorite or like most close to your heart?
Oh my gosh. The most close to my heart song right now is called The Station. Okay. And I wrote it very inspired by Gregory Alexakov. So love. Awesome. But it's gonna be on my next project. But it's my favorite song I've probably ever written. And I just sometimes when I'm writing stuff, like I am in some way like surprised by the like how am I gonna say this? Let me think for a second.
Take your time.
I feel like my favorite songs are the ones that I'm like, I surprise myself with what I'm saying, or things that I don't know I'm feeling it until I like look back at the page and I'm like, oh, like I didn't know that was how I was feeling. Yeah. And I feel like that's what that song did for me. Yeah. Which was really cool. And it's very folky and fun. Yes. And
it's not out?
It's not out yet. But I played it on my shows, and I feel like it's kind of like become a fan favorite, which is cool. And like my favorite is also, I feel like other people's favorite. But yeah, I wrote it just about like the last like 6 months of my life and everything I was feeling. Yeah. And it's just very special to me. So
that's awesome.
Love.
That's really awesome. Did you pick a song yet that you're going to perform or?
Sure.
Not yet?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
What song?
I'm probably going to sing Blue Heaven because it's the title track of an EP that I released. Yeah. If that's cool.
Yeah. What inspired it? Like, give us some background.
Blue Heaven I wrote during a phase I was listening to a lot of Lorde, actually. So like a lot of the lyrics were inspired.
The diamond in the what's one of her famous songs? You know what I'm talking about?
Homemade Dynamite, maybe. Royals.
Royals, yeah.
Yes.
That one. I think I grew up with that one.
Yes, she's awesome. Yeah. I love Liability. I love Green Light. Those are like my favorite songs by her. But I was just like super inspired by like her cadence of lyrics and like how in depth she gets in her lyrics and like kind of her rhyme schemes and stuff. And so I was listening to a lot of that when I was writing a lot of the lyrics for Blue Heaven. And Blue Heaven was like so fun because I had written like both the pre-choruses, and I went into a write with Dylan Rockoff and Matt Harris, and I was like, I have these like pre-choruses written to this like kind of like sad piano thing, but like I think this song could be like upbeat and fun and pop rock kind of. Yeah. And they're just so awesome. And Dylan started like laying down some guitars, and Matt like started producing it, and me and Dylan wrote the verses and then like the chorus, and it just turned into one of my favorite songs that I've written like very quickly. Yeah. And I just had the most fun making it. Like we were just having a great time at the studio that day and just like goofing off like half the time. So that was really awesome. And then it sat on my computer for way too long, and I was like, I have to release this song. Like I love this song. Yeah. And it kind of became like the blueprint for like the rest of my EP. And I kind of wanted to like follow more of that sound palette, and I felt like I discovered a lot of my sound like within that song. One of my friends told me it sounded kind of like Dua Lipa and like Casey Musgraves like had a baby, and I was like, honestly, like I will run with that.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and it was fun because I wrote it about this guy in like high school that I like kind of had a crush on. And I like could have sworn that he liked me back. Like I was like, he for sure. And I was like working up the courage to like say something. And he was like, oh my gosh, I totally feel like there's something between like you or between me and your best friend. I was like, cool. So yeah, I liked him and he had a crush on my best friend. And I was like, that's so fun.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was slow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
terrible.
yeah. So I was like, working up the courage to say something. He's like, I feel like there's something between me and your best friend. I was like, oh. Okay.
And a great song came out of it though.
Yeah, so that's kind of what inspired that. But I do feel like in maybe some like masochistic way that like it's a little fun when you like have a crush on somebody and it like is kind of hurting your feelings. But you're like also like this is kind of being like fun, like low-key being obsessed with someone, but also like getting my heart broken at the same time. Like it's entertaining. So it's okay, that's true. That's true. My toxic behaviors are in the past. So I admit it. Yes. Sometimes you're just like, oh, this is going to make the best material. No, just kidding. Yes. My heart's getting broken right now. Awesome. But just like the fun back and forth of like having a crush is kind of like what that song is about.
That's awesome.
Which is a topic that I'd never really like written about. Most of the time my songs are like sad and this one was more like, oh, I'm happy that I'm being sad right now. But yeah. So that's Blue Heaven.
Sweet.
In a nutshell.
And then do you have any live performances coming up?
I do. I'm playing at the East Room on the 7th. So I don't know if that's Friday or Saturday. I should know. I don't.
This upcoming?
Yes, like the 7th. Like
7th?
The 7th. And then on the 17th, I'm playing with this thing called No Name Nash. And they have like a Christmas like showcase. And they do showcases like every week. And they highlight just artists that aren't country in Nashville, which I think is really dope. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Dude, really thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. I'm excited to hear the song. Really good.
Thanks.
Can you clap into the mic for me? Perfect.
Oh, you probably only needed one. Parked your car down the Cleghorn. I bought my nails, this isn't how it should go. You talk of business in Soho. A phantom call, but it should be my name on the phone. I'm the dancer in the rain. You're the glide tap in my window pane. I don't like, but we are still the same, don't you think? And you're my neon crimson blush. My heart needs your love to crush. Inhale you, I can't get enough. No, give me something. Don't say nothing, 'cause something's more than nothing at all. You keep me waiting, mind is racing. I wonder if you want what I want. I wanna stay inside the blue, blue heaven. Love sick forever. Oh, the blue, blue heaven. Love sick forever. Oh, I've turned a diamond into cold dust. I've been the first one to a gold rush, and I gained a son. Oh, I've been bitter, I've been tasteless. But something about you makes me think that I could do it again. Drawn hearts on every letter, tear chapstick, kiss it better. Summer could have been forever. We're sneaking out of your parents' house, and the thought that you would miss this now. There's bills to pay and life's to figure. Give me something, don't say nothing, 'cause something's more than nothing at all. You keep me waiting, mind is racing. I wonder if you want what I want. I wanna stay inside the blue, blue heaven. Love sick forever. Oh, the blue, blue heaven. Love sick forever. Oh, I wanna stay inside the tunnel vision, reminiscing, need you more than ever. The silent kill, the cheapest, still I could do